So it did take a bit of time for us to get to know each other, but we did become, very close friends from quite early on.
Breaking news from Buckingham Palace has shattered the calm surrounding the British monarchy, as what was expected to be a routine announcement turned into something far more devastating. At precisely 11:45 this morning, the Palace press office released a carefully worded yet deeply alarming statement that sent shockwaves across the United Kingdom and around the world. The announcement confirmed what many had feared but hoped was untrue. Catherine, Princess of Wales, a symbol of modern royal grace and resilience, is facing a far more serious health battle than had previously been acknowledged. The statement revealed that her condition has taken an unexpected and deeply concerning turn, marking a significant shift from the Palace's earlier announcement in March 2024, which stated that Catherine was undergoing preventative chemotherapy following abdominal treatment. Today's announcement paints a far graver picture. The cancer, discovered during Catherine's initial surgery in January, has proven to be far more aggressive than originally believed. Medical experts advising the royal household have now recommended an extended and intensified treatment plan, requiring the Princess of Wales to withdraw completely from public duties for an indefinite period. Royal correspondent Jonathan Sashidoti was among the first to explain the implications on live television, noting that the language used in palace statements is never accidental. Terms such as extended treatment and indefinite period, he emphasized, signal something far more serious than a temporary setback. This is not a brief recovery from routine procedures, but a life-altering battle faced by a woman in her early 40s, fighting for her life while striving to shield her 3 young children from the full reality of her illness. Within minutes of the announcement, social media erupted. Catherine's name trended worldwide on X, with a hashtag #PrayForCatherine reaching #1 in more than 50 countries, while Instagram posts from royal fan accounts amassed millions of views within the first hour. Beyond the online reaction, however, a deeper emotional response emerged. Even those with little interest in the monarchy found themselves moved by the unfolding tragedy. Catherine, known for her dedication to public service and her efforts to raise her children with a sense of normalcy despite extraordinary circumstances, now faces every parent's worst nightmare. The timing of the announcement feels particularly cruel, coming just a month after what many believed was her triumphant return to public life at the Remembrance Day service, where she appeared composed and seemingly on the path to recovery. Behind the scenes, however, a far more troubling reality was taking shape, as late November medical scans revealed unexpected complications and evidence that the cancer doctors had hoped was fully contained had not been. The cancer, which doctors had hoped had been eliminated, showed signs of renewed activity in areas that filled the medical team with dread. Palace insiders, speaking on condition of anonymity, described scenes of organized chaos in the hours leading up to today's announcement, as senior royals were informed during emergency meetings late last night. King Charles, himself managing a cancer diagnosis revealed earlier this year, was said to be devastated by the news. Prince William, who has been Catherine's unwavering support throughout this ordeal, ultimately made the painful decision to share the full truth with the public, as maintaining the appearance that everything was progressing normally had become impossible. Medical realities, unforgiving and unavoidable, forced the royal family's hand in the most heartbreaking way. To fully grasp the weight of today's announcement, it is necessary to return to the beginning of this nightmare. January 16, 2024, was expected to be an ordinary day in the carefully managed life of the Princess of Wales, but instead it marked the start of a journey into darkness she could never have anticipated. A planned abdominal surgery, initially described as successful and related to a non-cancerous condition, revealed something far more sinister. During the procedure at the London Clinic, one of Britain's most prestigious private hospitals, surgeons discovered abnormalities that required immediate biopsy. The results, delivered days later, altered everything. Cancer, the word that strikes fear into millions, had become Catherine's reality. This was no routine diagnosis. The type and location, details the palace as closely guarded, pointed to a particularly aggressive form requiring swift and intensive treatment. Medical experts speaking generally about such cases note that conditions of this nature often demand immediate action and leave little room for optimism or delay. When cancer is discovered incidentally during surgery for an unrelated issue, it often indicates that the disease has been silently progressing undetected, a factor that makes it especially dangerous. Catherine's decision to undergo preventative chemotherapy, announced in her emotional video message released in March, was presented to the public as a precautionary step. With her characteristic dignity, she explained that although the surgery had been successful, further tests had revealed cancer and her medical team advised chemotherapy as the best course of action. What remained unsaid, to avoid widespread panic, was the deep concern among her doctors that microscopic cancer cells may have already spread beyond the original surgical site. The chemotherapy regimen she endured was reportedly far more brutal than anticipated, with friends close to the family quietly acknowledging the severe nausea, exhaustion, and hair loss she carefully concealed during her limited public appearances through expert styling and wigs. Each cycle left her physically weaker, yet she persisted with the same determination that has long defined her royal role, driven by her resolve to survive for herself and for George, Charlotte, and Louis, who needed their mother. Throughout the spring and summer of 2024, Catherine largely withdrew from public life. The infrequent photographs released by Kensington Palace depicted a woman striving to preserve a sense of normalcy for her children through birthday portraits and casual family images, carefully curated to reassure the public that she was recovering. However, those attuned to subtle details noticed troubling signs: visible weight loss, deliberate posing to conceal the toll of treatment, and the cancellation of engagements she would ordinarily attend without hesitation. By September, when Catherine released a video announcing the completion of her chemotherapy, there was a sense of cautious optimism. She spoke of relief, of gradually resuming public duties, and of seeing light at the end of a long tunnel. The footage of her laughing with William and their children in the Norfolk countryside appeared to signal triumph, as though she had beaten the odds. Yet medical professionals observing the message noted the carefully chosen language, suggesting a guarded hope rather than certainty. Catherine was careful in her wording, saying that her chemotherapy had ended, not that she was cancer-free, and describing a new phase of recovery rather than a cure, distinctions that carry enormous weight. As autumn arrived, it appeared she was gradually returning to royal duties, with brief but meaningful public appearances at Wimbledon in July and later at the Remembrance Service in November, where she once again displayed the dignity and grace for which she is known. Each engagement, however, was meticulously planned around her fluctuating energy levels. What remained hidden from public view was the reality behind these appearances: constant medical consultations, close monitoring, and growing concern among her doctors. Scans that were expected to show improvement instead revealed troubling shadows, areas requiring further imaging, additional tests, and biopsies that delivered devastating results. By late November, her medical team confronted a painful truth: the cancer had not been eliminated. It was adapting and persisting despite aggressive treatment, necessitating new protocols that would be more intensive, more experimental, and far less certain in their outcomes. Throughout this ordeal, Catherine has shown a resilience that many describe as extraordinary. Those close to her speak of a woman determined not to be defined by her illness, remaining quietly involved in her charitable work, reading every letter from well-wishers, and continuing to make decisions about her children's education and daily lives. She has also supported Prince William as he shoulders increasing responsibilities while witnessing his wife fight for her life. Yet the toll is undeniable. This is a battle that tests not only physical endurance but emotional and mental strength beyond what anyone should be asked to summon. Behind the palace walls, the polished image of royal life has rarely contrasted so starkly with private suffering. The Wales family has been living through a nightmare familiar to many families, but intensified by relentless public scrutiny. For Prince William, the future king, the role he has been forced to assume, that of primary caregiver and emotional anchor, has demanded a strength and vulnerability no preparation could have fully equipped him for. Prince William has worked tirelessly to shield their 3 young children from the full horror of their mother's condition, a responsibility that has profoundly reshaped him over the past 11 months. Once content to let Catherine manage much of the family's daily organization, he has become deeply involved in every aspect of their children's lives, from morning routines and school runs to homework, bedtime stories, and emotional reassurance. He has carried these responsibilities while also managing his expanding royal duties and enduring the quiet devastation of watching the woman he loves fight for her life. Friends describe him as moving through each day on autopilot, outwardly composed but inwardly consumed by fear of what the future may bring. The children George, Charlotte, and Louis have been carefully protected from the full extent of their mother's illness, yet they are far from unaware. George, now 11, understands more than his parents sometimes realize, noticing his mother's exhaustion and her inability to take part in activities they once shared. 9-year-old Charlotte has grown notably protective, eager to help in small ways that deeply move and trouble her parents, while Louis, just 6, senses that something is wrong even if he cannot yet articulate it. To navigate this painful terrain, the family has sought guidance from child psychologists on how to be honest without instilling fear, and how to prepare their children for possibilities no child should ever have to face. Lambrook School, which all 3 attend, has been discreetly informed and has quietly provided additional support, briefing teachers to watch for signs of emotional strain while ensuring the children are not made to feel singled out. Known for its discretion and respect for privacy, the school community has rallied around the Wales children with compassion and care. This delicate balance has required constant communication between Lambrook School and Kensington Palace, ensuring the children are supported while their privacy is protected. At the same time, King Charles faces the uniquely painful challenge of managing his own cancer diagnosis while watching his daughter-in-law, whom he has come to regard as a true daughter, confront an even more serious battle. His cancer, discovered in February during treatment for an enlarged prostate, has required ongoing care but is considered manageable, and doctors have expressed cautious optimism about his prognosis. Nevertheless, news of Catherine's worsening condition has taken a visible toll on the monarch. He has increased his private visits to Adelaide Cottage, spending time with William and the children and offering whatever comfort, guidance, and reassurance he can. The crisis has revealed a deepening strength in the relationship between Charles and William. Long-standing tensions that once marked their interactions have faded in the face of shared adversity, as father and son now speak daily, sometimes multiple times a day, comparing medical experiences, sharing fears they cannot voice elsewhere, and supporting one another through the isolation that accompanies personal crisis within the demands of monarchy. Charles has also ensured that William gradually assumes greater responsibilities, quietly preparing him for the possibility that circumstances could hasten a succession timeline no one wishes to imagine. Meanwhile, Queen Camilla has emerged as an unexpected pillar of strength. Her past experiences witnessing loved ones endure serious illness have given her a deep empathy for the exhaustion, fear, and quiet guilt of being the healthy one. She has spent significant time with Catherine, not discussing treatments or prognosis, but simply offering her presence. In doing so, the two women have formed a bond that extends beyond formal roles, grounded in mutual understanding and unspoken support. What it means to love men who carry the immense weight of monarchy has become painfully clear during this crisis. The wider royal family has closed ranks in a way rarely seen, united by shared concern and duty. Princess Anne, known for her no-nonsense approach and formidable work ethic, has quietly taken on additional engagements to ease the burden on both King Charles and Prince William. The Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, Prince Edward and Sophie, have also increased their public appearances while offering steady practical and emotional support behind the scenes. Even royal cousins who have traditionally kept their distance have reached out, offering help in whatever form they can. One of the most poignant aspects of this moment has been the reaction of those who remember past royal tragedies. The parallels, though different in circumstance to Princess Diana's struggles, have not gone unnoticed. William's resolve to protect Catherine and their children from the kind of media frenzy that defined his mother's life has only intensified. He has taken personal control over the release of information, insisted on strict privacy around medical appointments, and made it clear that boundaries surrounding his family are firm and non-negotiable. The trauma of his childhood has shaped every decision he has made during this period, influencing both his caution and his fierce protectiveness. To fully understand the gravity of today's announcement, it is necessary to consider the medical realities Catherine faces. While the palace has not released specific details, the language and context offer important clues. Cancer diagnosed in women of Catherine's age, particularly when discovered incidentally during surgery for other conditions, often involves the gynecological or gastrointestinal systems. The aggressive course implied by the need for preventative chemotherapy followed by more intensive treatment suggests a disease that has not fully responded to initial therapies. Dr. Sarah Mitchell, an oncologist at the Royal Marsden Hospital who is not involved in Catherine's care but speaks generally about such cases, explains that when multiple treatment protocols are required, it often indicates either a particularly aggressive cancer type or one that has developed resistance to first-line treatments. While modern chemotherapy is highly effective for many cancers, some cells adapt and survive, forcing oncologists to shift strategies by combining drugs, introducing targeted therapies, or exploring immunotherapy options. The preventative chemotherapy Catherine completed likely involved multiple cycles spread over several months, with each round delivering powerful drugs intended to destroy any remaining cancer cells, followed by recovery periods to allow her body to regain strength. The physical side effects, nausea, exhaustion, hair loss, weakened immunity, and increased vulnerability to infection, are severe, but many patients report that the psychological burden is equally devastating. The knowledge that toxic substances are coursing through the body in the hope of survival places an immense mental strain on even the strongest individuals. Through your veins, destroying malignant cells while inevitably harming healthy ones as well, all while hoping the treatment is enough without ever having certainty until follow-up scans are complete. Those scans, typically conducted at 3-month intervals after chemotherapy ends, are make-or-break moments. Patients wait in agonizing suspense for results that will either confirm remission or signal the need for further treatment. For Catherine, scans performed in late November delivered the latter outcome. Imaging revealed new areas of concern or activity in regions that should have been clear, prompting additional biopsies to determine precisely what was happening at a cellular level. The results of those biopsies ultimately informed today's announcement. When cancer persists or returns despite initial treatment, the medical calculus changes significantly. First-line chemotherapy is usually the most effective, while second- and third-line treatments often come with lower success rates and harsher side effects. Doctors must carefully weigh the need for aggressive intervention against the patient's quality of life, recognizing that the individual is not only fighting disease but also trying to preserve some sense of normalcy. For Catherine, this means pursuing treatments that offer a realistic chance of success without completely incapacitating her. The medical team overseeing her care represents the highest level of British oncology, bringing together specialists from the Royal Marsden, consultants from other leading cancer centers, and experts in highly specialized treatment approaches. They meet regularly to review her case, debate options, consider clinical trials, and explore every possible avenue. Coordination with the King's personal physicians ensures continuity of care and shared insight, a collaboration that reflects both medical excellence and the seriousness of the situation. Such teams are not assembled for routine cases. Among the options being considered is immunotherapy, one of the most promising advances in modern cancer treatment. These therapies work by training the patient's own immune system to recognize and attack cancer cells, and in some cases they have produced remarkable results even where traditional chemotherapy has failed. However, not all cancers respond, and predicting effectiveness remains difficult. As part of Catherine's recent evaluations, her cancer cells have likely been tested for specific markers that suggest a potential response to immunotherapy. Another possibility is targeted therapy, which uses drugs designed to attack particular genetic mutations within cancer cells. When applicable, these treatments can be highly effective and often carry fewer side effects than conventional chemotherapy, but they require precise identification of actionable mutations. Advances in precision oncology have expanded these possibilities dramatically in recent years, offering hope where little once existed. Catherine's medical team has almost certainly conducted extensive genetic sequencing of her cancer cells in the search for any mutation that could guide a more effective, individualized treatment strategy. Today's announcement carries implications far beyond the personal struggles of the Wales family. It reverberates across the British monarchy itself. The royal family functions on meticulously planned schedules, often set months or years in advance, and Catherine's indefinite absence from public duties leaves a gap that cannot be easily filled. As Princess of Wales and future Queen Consort, she occupies a singular position within the royal hierarchy, second only to the monarch and his consort in terms of public interest and symbolic significance. One immediate practical challenge is the redistribution of Catherine's patronages and official responsibilities. She serves as patron to numerous charities and organizations, many reflecting her interests in early childhood development, mental health, and the arts. These organizations rely not only on the prestige her patronage brings, but also on the fundraising and public attention her involvement generates. While she may retain nominal patron status, her absence from active participation presents tangible difficulties. Other royals can step in temporarily, but none can replicate her personal connection and influence. State occasions and ceremonial duties present another layer of complexity. The monarchy's calendar is filled with events where the presence of senior royals is expected, including state visits, diplomatic receptions, and national commemorations. Catherine's participation has become anticipated and valued, and her absence will be keenly felt. While Queen Camilla can cover many ceremonial functions, the absence of the younger generation, embodied by Catherine, creates an imbalance in how the monarchy presents itself both domestically and internationally. For Prince William, the future king, the implications are perhaps most profound. Already gradually assuming more responsibilities, he now faces an accelerated and overwhelming burden. Serving as the primary public face of the younger royals, covering some of Catherine's engagements, and simultaneously remaining fully present for his wife and children. This impossible balancing act requires constant prioritization, with the understanding that some duties will inevitably go unmet. King Charles confronts a parallel dilemma. At 76 and managing his own cancer treatment, he cannot simply expand his workload to compensate for Catherine's absence. His schedule is carefully calibrated to maintain constitutional obligations while preserving his health. Increasing engagements could jeopardize his recovery, yet the monarchy demands visible presence. This tension between personal health and institutional needs underscores fundamental questions about the sustainability of the modern monarchy's operational model. Once again, Princess Anne, the Princess Royal, steps into the breach. Widely recognized as the hardest-working royal in terms of annual engagements, she has quietly taken on additional duties to help fill the void left by Catherine, ensuring continuity while supporting both Charles and William during this unprecedented challenge, responsibilities. Yet at 74, Princess Anne, while remarkably vigorous and committed, faces natural limits to what any individual can manage. The same applies to Prince Edward and Sophie, who have expanded their public profile and workload but cannot compensate single-handedly for the absence of two of the monarchy's most prominent figures. This situation has reignited debate over the slimmed-down monarchy concept that King Charles has long championed. While a smaller core of working royals is appealing in theory, modern, cost-effective, and streamlined, the current crisis exposes its vulnerability. When illness or personal crisis strikes, a reduced team has far less capacity to absorb the shock. There is no bench of experienced royals ready to step in. Those who might have filled such roles have either been sidelined or never developed into full-time working members of the firm. The constitutional implications, while not immediate, also demand attention. The line of succession remains clear. Charles, then William, then George. Yet if William must devote significant energy to caring for Catherine and their children, his preparation for kingship education, training, relationship building with government officials, and understanding the complex dynamics of the Commonwealth is inevitably affected. Worst-case scenarios, while deeply uncomfortable to consider, must be contemplated. Should Catherine's illness prove terminal, William could face the extraordinary challenge of ascending to the throne as a single parent, raising 3 children alone. Historical precedent exists, but modern expectations of the monarchy differ greatly from those of previous eras. The public has come to value the stable family image that William and Catherine represent, and the loss of that stability would significantly affect the monarchy's relevance, particularly among younger generations. Parliament and government officials, while publicly maintaining a respectful distance from royal health matters, closely monitor the situation. The continuity and stability of the monarchy are considered a matter of national interest, and any disruption to royal functions or succession planning carries constitutional and international implications. Quiet, confidential discussions regarding contingency plans are undoubtedly underway, though such deliberations would never be publicly acknowledged. Public opinion, meanwhile, has overwhelmingly rallied around Catherine, reflecting her genuine popularity. Polls consistently show her as one of the most admired royals, a figure who embodies a successful modern interpretation of centuries-old traditions. Her illness has sparked widespread sympathy and concern, yet public patience has its limits, particularly if royal duties and engagements begin to suffer prolonged disruption. The path forward is complex and deeply challenging. For Catherine personally, it will involve adhering to whatever treatment protocols her medical team recommends, with each decision carrying enormous consequences. Striking the balance between aggressive therapy and preserving quality of life is paramount. She is determined to fight the disease but also wants to remain present and engaged in the daily lives of her children. Finding treatments that offer genuine hope while allowing her to function as an active mother requires careful planning and meticulous support. Palace sources indicate that the next phase of her care, set to begin in the coming weeks, will likely be more intensive than anything she has previously endured. Whether this involves combination chemotherapy, immunotherapy, targeted therapy, or a combination of approaches, the side effects are expected to be significant. Managing these effects while maintaining a semblance of normal family life will demand extraordinary support. The Wales household has resources few patients could imagine: round-the-clock medical care, private chefs preparing meals tailored to nutritional and nausea management needs, and staff to handle daily tasks that become overwhelming during treatment. Yet even these advantages cannot lessen the emotional and physical toll of cancer. William's role in the months ahead is critical. He must act as partner, caregiver, father, and future king simultaneously. The pressure is immense, but those who know him report that he draws strength from Catherine's courage. Her dignity and determination in facing this illness inspire him to meet the challenges of supporting her with resilience. Their relationship, tested in ways few couples experience, appears poised to emerge stronger rather than falter. For George, Charlotte, and Louis, the coming months will profoundly shape their understanding of family, resilience, and mortality. Child psychologists emphasize age-appropriate honesty, maintaining routines wherever possible, and ensuring that children feel safe expressing their emotions without guilt or fear of burdening their parents. The Wales family has reportedly embraced these principles, holding regular family meetings where the children can ask questions and share concerns. Despite the presence of cancer in their lives, the family strives to preserve moments of joy, laughter, and ordinary activities. Support from the broader royal family will continue to be essential. Visits from grandparents, cousins, and other relatives provide both practical help and emotional sustenance. The royal calendar will be adjusted so senior royals can devote more time to supporting William and the children. Some planned international trips may be postponed or reassigned, and certain state visits may be scaled back. The monarchy as an institution must adapt to the reality that one of its central figures is fighting for her life. Kensington Palace's communication strategy is also evolving. Today's announcement represents a shift toward greater transparency about Catherine's condition. While specific medical details will remain private, the public can expect more regular updates regarding her treatment and well-being. This openness serves multiple purposes: reassuring the public, managing expectations, and fostering understanding of the challenges faced by the Princess of Wales while maintaining the dignity and privacy of the family. The palace's decision to communicate openly about Catherine's condition serves to manage public expectations, reduce speculation, and allow the nation to feel connected to her journey. Attempting to maintain privacy through silence has proven untenable, and the timeline for any potential return to public duties remains uncertain. Optimistic scenarios might see Catherine attending some events later in 2025, though likely in a limited capacity, while more realistic projections suggest significant public engagement may not resume until 2026 or beyond. It is also possible, painful as it is to acknowledge, that she may never fully return to the level of royal duties she maintained before her diagnosis, which would represent a fundamental shift in how the Wales household and the monarchy operate. Medical advancements offer genuine hope. Cancer treatment continues to evolve rapidly, with therapies that didn't exist 5 years ago now becoming standard, and clinical trials providing access to cutting-edge experimental options. While money and royal status cannot guarantee outcomes, they provide Catherine access to every possible tool in the fight against cancer. Equally important is the spiritual dimension of her journey. As future Queen and Supreme Governor of the Church of England, her faith has become a source of solace, providing comfort through private prayer, scripture, and the support of a faith community that spans the nation. These elements complement medical care, sustaining her through an ordeal that is as psychological and emotional as it is physical. Looking ahead, Catherine's experience will inevitably shape her future royal work. Should she recover sufficiently to resume public duties, her first-hand understanding of serious illness will add authenticity and depth to her advocacy for mental health, patient support, and cancer charities. Her patronage would take on even greater significance, giving a powerful voice to those navigating the healthcare system and the emotional challenges that families facing serious illness endure. Regardless of outcomes, her grace under unimaginable pressure, her dedication to shielding her children, and her refusal to let illness define her exemplify a modern form of courage acknowledging vulnerability without surrendering to it. Historians may view this period as defining, not only for Catherine personally but for the monarchy's ability to navigate crisis in the 21st century. For the public, Catherine's struggle has humanized the royal family in ways few could anticipate. Her illness strips away the illusion that royalty offers protection from life's cruelties, revealing the shared human experience that connects everyone. As the palace adjusts to this new reality, the coming weeks and months will bring more medical updates, treatment decisions, and careful management of public information alongside private suffering. Throughout it all, the focus remains on Catherine as a wife, mother, and daughter fighting for her life, the titles, ceremonial duties, and royal pageantry fading into insignificance beside this fundamental human drama. Today's announcement marks not an ending, but the start of a new, uncertain phase in her cancer journey. The battle continues, the outcome remains unknown, and all that can be done is to hope, pray, and support from afar. One of Britain's most beloved figures now faces the greatest challenge of her life, and the courage with which she faces it commands profound respect and admiration.